Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Now, we end up stripping the car. Now, no, we're not stripping it to get rid of it. We're just stripping it to do more. And this totally wasn't my intention. It just, the more I look at stuff, the more I want to do it. So what I've done now, I've decided in my head, we've got 6 weeks until the car's due an MOT. Ideally, I don't want it to sit here and run out of an MOT. And then have to get it all done and dusted right here, because it might go to the body shop first, depending how quick I can move and get what I want to do done. But I don't want the MOT to run out ideally. If it does, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But I've decided to split the car straight down the middle, and I'm going to concentrate on the back end, because that's where the rust is that's going to fail the MOT. Now, we've shown you before that we've got seals that need doing. The front of these seals are good. On both sides, a little bit crushed, but the back is where we had the rot down there that you see. Let me grab the torch. Down there, and obviously I showed you last time in the petrol cap, and I've removed some tubes and bits and pieces now, and all clear up there. We've got the rust. Now, you've seen that before. Now, welding wise, typically being on that side with the fuel filler, I was a bit wary that the fuel filler was going to be in the way and you get sparks when I'm cutting out and welding. So decided to drop the fuel tank. So the fuel tank came out today. A little bit annoying because I had half a tank of fuel in it. But to be fair, because I had the rest of the car stripped, it was pretty simple. You have to undo these 3 hoses here. Now, the worst thing about those is that they've not been off in a long time. Now, the one with the hardline clip on it, like a pair of needle nose pliers, and that come off not too bad. The ones that are just push fit hoses with little spring clips were very difficult because the hose is almost kind of seized onto the end there. So that was awkward to get off. Now, when you drop the fuel tank, you take off these 3 lines. This plug here, I thought I had to disconnect, but you don't. It's part of that loom. So I assume obviously the pumps, maybe the sender's going to be in there. Sorry, not the pump. The pump's going to be the other side. So the sender's going to be in there, I assume. And then off the back side of it, this is your main fill hose from your fuel cap that goes up the hard line, and this is the vent. Same place, goes across here, comes through a hard line that goes through the rear arch / chassis leg section, and then comes up and vents back right up towards the cap. And this is your carbon canister. Now, obviously, this is here for fumes and the smell of fuel, etc. The canister seems all right, but the brackets and everything are really manky, and I doubt I can get the brackets on their own. And I'm umming and ahhing on whether to put that back on the car or take it off. It is split there, but to be fair, because it's plastic, I can heat that and melt that back together. That's no dramas. Fuel tank connection, you don't have to disconnect it on the tank unless you're obviously taking the sender out, but you disconnect, this goes under the rear seat, and then you disconnect that from the car loom. And once that's done, the tank just drops out. Because if you did this with the rear end in place, it would be an absolute nightmare trying to get it out where it is, because everything's in the way. But I've got, well, everything's, don't know if I showed you last time, everything's up here. So we've got the rear cradles out, the prop shaft, they're the rear shocks. This is the rear T-brace for the diff. Obviously the exhaust is on the floor. What else have we got? Everything's off the car. Fuel filler cap sections, the hubs, more diff section. This car had a tow bar, and these were the main brackets going up to the back for the tow bar. Obviously it didn't have the actual section across it anymore, but there's no need for these to be on the car. That's the diff brace that goes inside the rear cradle, and they're obviously my link arms and all that need powder coating. So the back end of the car is totally stripped now, absolutely 100%, 99% stripped. The only thing still on is the brake lines. Now, the brake lines, a lot of cars, if you check an MOT history on a Subaru Impreza WRX STI, you're going to see corroded rear brake lines. And it's not normally the brake line itself, just trying to see where I put my torch down here. It's not normally the brake line itself that's corroded, it's the brass block where the brake lines connect from under the seat. There's a short section that joins, and then it goes to the offside and near side rear of the car. Now, that's there. So I've had this bolt out, so I'll put some anti-seize on it. I haven't attempted to undo these yet. I don't want to just yet. I'm going to disconnect the ABS sensors and move those. But this is what they say by brake line corroding. It's the fittings there. So it's those two on that side. You can see they are very bad. Will they come out of there? I've no idea. And these two this side. I'm going to put some built hammer stuff or something on them to de-rust that and then see how we get on. Because the actual brake lines themselves, you come up here, you follow it up and round, the brake line is good. Again, a bit grotty there, but it's not bad at all. But whilst the fuel tank's out, you don't want to have to replace these once you put it all back in, because you can't, obviously this one runs above the fuel tank. So you're not going to get to that. Now these aren't dear, I think they're about 50 quid each, but again, it's another £50 each, another 100 quid. And this isn't the problem. These go right through the car. They don't join back up here. People normally cut them and put two joins up here and then redo them to here and then have new brake lines, so that this bit is no longer an issue. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet, but we'll look at that in a minute. So let's show you the rest of the underside. If I can come right back here and give you a good view. We've removed the exhaust. There's a heat shield that goes up there. One of the brackets, that side, snapped off. These are super flimsy and all twist up when you try and take them out. This had the big, huge steel bar across it. That was part of the tow bar, because mine didn't have the bumper supports coming out there because the tow bar brackets were there. So I'm going to put the bumper supports back on. They're like 20 quid each. Now looking rust-wise, while we're out, we've got a bit of a grotty hanger there, but it's okay. So this car's had a coat of underseal at some point, and it's done its job. To be fair, it's looked after it. The underseal there, so you look like, oh, that's rusty. It's not. That's the underseal stuff starting to flake off. But it's kept the car pretty well. Now on this side, that wasn't like that when I started. I ummed and ahed about what I'm going to do protecting the car. Now, I told you that I'm going to do a half and half. So basically, I'm going to work on the car from underside here, so that when it's all back together, when I want to do the middle section, say let's say I clean up to the edge of this here, all you got to do is take off the prop, and then obviously your underfloor there and there is clear right up to the front by the gearbox and the cross member, gearbox cradle, etc., and the exhaust. So I'm going to clear up from there backwards. Now, I can't shot blast the car, sandblast the car. I'm not paying 1,500 quid to dry ice blast it or anything like that, but I need to clean all this grot off. Excuse me, need to clean all this grot off to make sure that we're good. And then I need to rust proof it or rust treat it. And then I need to Gravitex it or Raptor coat, something like that. So the bit right above the fuel tank is lovely jubbly, but the edges where the water can get up to, now you'd say, oh, it's really rusty. It's not. So what I've done over here, I decided the best way to have a go at all this scabbiness was a needle scaler. Now, okay, you can see there, you might say it's a bit aggressive, but I don't really care. Excuse me, I've got a cold still. I don't really care about the finish. What I want is all the flakiness off. Now this, obviously, you can see there, it's not even getting my fingers hardly dirty now because we've needle scaled it all off. Now, for those of you, oh dear, I'm getting too old to crawl under these cars. For those of you who don't know what a needle scaler is, this was like 50 quid off Amazon. And it vibrates the needles on the end, and it does exactly what it says. It gets scaled off a metal. Now, the good thing about this is, it's aggressive, but it's not too aggressive. Now, obviously, you wouldn't use it on an external panel because it would just ruin it, absolutely trash it. But for the sections of chassis leg and things like that, I have this on a gun here, and I can do all that. So what I'm going to do, actually, because people will think, oh, look at that, it is actually rusty. He's pretending it's not rusty, it's rotten as you like. I'm going to put some ear defenders on because these are pretty loud. So I'm going to apologise now for the noise that you're about to hear. but I want to show you that it's not actually that bad. I'm just going to try and do this one-handed. Should have thought about this first, shouldn't I? Right. We quickly turn the compressor back on. Again, I'm lucky to have a workshop full of tools. I know a lot of people won't have this, but a lot of people that are doing cars, they have an airline and they have a compressor, even if it's a small one. Right, I forgot my safety glasses, but it kind of is what it is. So all these sections here, you think, oh, they're really rusty. Let's go away from the brake lines, to be fair. Where will be a good one to show you? Up here. So let's go there. So all this bit here that looks all scabby, and you'll think, oh, we're going to go through it a bit to holes in the car. Ready? Right, I'm not going to do much more, but you can see there we're going through, and that is rock solid, and you can see all the scabs and crust that's just come off onto the floor. Now the actual panel itself, difficult to show there, but the panel itself is still absolutely solid, and I'm going to do that on all of this here, get off all this old undersill, because right, let's come out from under here, take the ear defenders off. So I'm going to do that on all that section of the car, because that's the only thing I think that I'm going to be able to do to get it all off. Now, wire wheeling it is all well and good. The problem with a wire wheel on an angle grinder is you can't get into a lot of places and a lot of corners, just because the size of the wheel and the way it all is. So using the needle scaler, you're not going to leave a perfectly smooth finish on the car, but that, to me, underneath it doesn't really matter. It's a little bit battered anyway. And when I undercoat it, underseal it, Raptor, like a Raptor bed liner thing, whatever we do, I'm going to, let's just turn this off again. Yeah, when I do whatever I do underneath, it's going to have a texture to it. It's not going to be a proper 2-pack gum finish paint. It's just going to be a black textured underseal over the top of, say, the Built Hamber Hydrate 80, whatever I can put under there. So yeah, that's a quick update. We're going to keep this video short. You can see all the bits we got off the car. I'm replacing a few bits here and there. You can see the diff out there, but I'm not worried about getting the actual components super duper, everything powder coated and super shiny to go back on first. Basically what I want to do is get the underside good, especially underneath the fuel tank area, and do this weld repair this side, do the weld repair on the on the near side to the seal, and do the weld repair to this quarter panel, because they're the three things, and also clean up around that brake block. They're the three things that would fail the MOT. The rest of the car, everything else can be done after. I can strip the whole back end again. Now it's all been off and I've had a fight with it and I've got all the bolts, nothing's rusty, nothing's stuck. I could probably strip the end in a good day. And then if I want to powder coat it, it's not an issue. So we're going to treat the whole back end of that car. I'm going to needle file it. I'll use the wire wheel maybe on some sections, only where we have to. And then we'll get something like a Gravitex. I don't know if I can add like the Weld Rally Blue to a Gravitex or whatever. I'm not too sure how we go about that. If I buy a base, would it be a really dull colour? I'm not really a paint guy, so I don't know. But that's where we're at. The car's getting stripped. Not to break it, we are going to put it back together. We're just going a lot further than I thought. So there's an update. I'll bring you back on the next one. We'll show you when it's all cleaned up and stripped. Please like and subscribe if you like the content, and we'll see you again on the next one.